Okay, good afternoon, folks. Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. I lost track of time. My lag's up a little, so I was just chatting with someone on the on Thomas Wade's group just to figure out. Everyone's got a little bit of lag extra today, but I know Marco mentioned he took that second entry long. I left it for this reason. We got a big push down. It looks like we're having multiple attempts, and there was a little. We're getting close to this measured leg, so. You just don't know whether this thing is going to come down. I kind of expected it to come down. So, Speedy, how you doing, buddy? Tony, how are you, mate? Can I take a trade now? I can, yeah. So, I'm just looking at this for a new low. That lag is a bit... That ATR is a bit high at the moment. There may be a little break there and a new low, so we'll have to see if we can get... there is a failure there. We've triggered above it. Yeah, I'm going to sit tight here, and rightly so. Where's that order? It's up here. Let me just kill it.
Order cancelled.
Yeah, there may have been a small break there. So is this going up at an angle? It could be. There's certainly a possibility. But after that big move down from the news, I'd expect to... It's making multiple efforts, but not sure about this. There was a failure there, but I didn't want to take that just in case this thing, because a couple of legs up and then straight down. So I think it's just time to sit and wait there. But so let's see how we get on today. So yeah, there may be a channel there. Yeah, someone else has just put that on there. So he's just posted that now. So there may be something like that. Jan, how you doing, bud? So we got a touch, and it looks like it's working, doesn't it? I didn't want to take that just at the moment, just in case we got two legs up. We may have an attempt to retest that. It could still come down, but I'm a bit on the fence here. Let's have a look at the 10,000 tick chart. Push down, a couple of legs up, a retest. It could come down, so I'm a bit... I'm sitting tight here at the moment, just to kind of give it a little bit of space. See that? We've had a little breakout, which has failed quickly. So we've come off the bottom. The fact that we've only got up halfway straight away tells me not to think about taking a long at the moment. That bar there could get trapped. This thing may come down some more. So okay, second entry long. Still not in the mood for this. This thing could come down. The fact that it's only got up halfway is just making me nervous. So there is two legs back. It may work, but I'm staying out of this. Yeah, Thomas Wade saying I'm not sure here. It's risky as hell, this, if it triggers. It's actually a better bar on my other one. So try go high once, try go twice. Well, it's working, but I can't take that one. It doesn't feel right to me, this. It's flattening off here. Now that bar there is triggered, so let's just see. I don't know. Nothing I can do, unfortunately. Channel down. One attempt to push higher. Technical push. This could fail. I'm surprised that didn't break, which is telling me I think this may be more of a range. Right, there's a failure on my other chart, but the bar's massive. I actually don't mind that trade, but it's 26 ticks. Try go once, try go twice. Big bearish bar. It hasn't triggered anyway. You think how many stops are going to be there and along here? This thing flushes down. It's going to weep a ton of stops there. It has triggered. I'm just not getting in for 26 ticks. See if it gives us a lower high. I haven't got this set. What's it like on my other chart? Just going to look at this chart a second. See if it gives us a lower high once it gets below there, and then there, this thing is going to come down quick, I think. Okay, I'm just going to shove it out of the way. If I take a trade on it, I'll bring it in. Leg down, 2 attempts to push higher, leg down. So I'd say this is either a break of this, which it may be, so I still think it's worth paying attention to that. So yeah, it's picked off all them stops there, as I thought it may do. So I have something called time sync, which is supposed to sort this up, but it doesn't seem to be doing it today. Do you think Trump's sentence today will impact the market? I haven't even paid much attention to it, to be fair, mate. What happened? I thought that was all kind of done and dusted. I mean, the guy's a president now. Can you be president with criminal records? I don't know how it works. I haven't paid much attention to, I think, my news. I've been looking at these fires in Los Angeles at the moment. We're freezing our nuts off over here. It's 0 degrees outside. And yet you forget other parts of the world. Things are quite different. He paid off. Don't get a fine or jail. But he will be a convicted felon. I didn't think you could be a president if you're a convicted felon. I don't think you can here. Well, be a prime minister. I don't know how it works. And I mean, the US is quite different, isn't it, from the sort of Europe? Maybe he can pardon himself. That's actually a really interesting point. Can you do that? I mean, Biden pardoned his son, didn't it? Can you pardon yourself as a president? Surely you can't, but it's an interesting question, put it that way. As we know, Biden pardon. Well, I don't blame him, to be honest with you. We tend to do anything for our kids, don't we? And his time in politics is up. He's getting quite old now, so, you know, why not do something for your family? I dare say, being a politician, you know, a lot of politicians kind of neglect their family life to a degree anyway, so maybe you one last thing to do for your family, maybe. But yeah, that's an interesting question. Can you pardon yourself? You wouldn't have thought so, would you? You'd be able to do anything you want, really. You'd be able to get away with anything and then just keep pardoning yourself. No, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Okay, so channel down with a break and a new low. So this thing now is starting to look more rangy, as I thought it would, which is why I never got into a second entry long, although it would have worked. So I wish that lag would go down. It's only orange, so it's not terrible. I'm going to put that there, I think. It's got multiple touches there. Now, we've had a breakout at the bottom there and a breakout there, so leg and leg. So I'm not too concerned about this coming out some more. Now, if you have got a channel, we've also had 2 legs down there. Now, that is a second entry short. Now, it may work, but I'm sitting tight here. Market's flickering around a bit. It's making me a bit nervous. It may come down and retest this, but we've bounced twice here, so I don't want to risk that much anyway. You wouldn't have gone on a limit order. By the way, I use the Mindbook software to manage NTP. Not really work. Used to have loads of problems with lag. I used to until I downloaded this time sync, and then I never had an issue with it. What I always used to do, going back a few years, I would I'd right click down here. You can't see it at the moment, but I'd time, just and date, and I'd just click sync, and that would sort it out. But it stopped doing it. So I downloaded. Someone mentioned this, and I never had an issue. But just once in a blue moon, yeah, time sync. Just once in a blue moon, it happens. This time sync, but doesn't seem to be doing much. But I have spoken to a few people on Thomas Wade's forum, and they said theirs is a little higher than normal. So maybe, just maybe, you know, after yesterday, perhaps, you know, traders are coming in and option B, yeah, it's just called time sync. And as soon as I did that, it was about 3 years ago I did it, and it worked fine. So big bullish bar off here, cleared out any stops there. The trouble is we've had one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. This would be a failure trap in longs, but do I really want to go long at the moment? This is bouncing twice now off this. Massive lag on Wednesday, but sometimes it's yeah, maybe it'll calm down. It's not terrible. If it was red, I would probably ease up on trading for a while. But it's only orange at the moment, so there is a second entry short there, but it's above the EMA, and we've had this, and we have broken below and cleaned out any possible stops here, and a strong push up. So my gut feeling is that may go higher, which is why I stayed out of a short there. But after that big move down, we could get another leg. It's possible. So maybe the thought process is bearish at the moment. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. It's a little bit unclear at the moment. It's still rangy, but we have struggled twice now to get up above that midline. Morning, Daryl. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I think that time sync I does automatically does it, I think. You could say that's a triple test, but look at this. I don't really want to take that. It's frustrating, isn't it? It worked, but trouble is we've had a triple test, but also we're getting a triple test up high as well. So which one do you trust? It is a little bit choppy here, so it could go up or it could come down. We have got higher that third time, so maybe it will come up here now. So that bearish bar worked, that one worked. That is a second entry short technically, but that's the type of trade above the EMA. It pulls back to the EMA, triggers you, and then pushes up. Size down using limit orders. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that ATR at the moment. I'm hoping this settles. If it doesn't get any better soon, I may go down to one contract. Periodically as well, yeah. I don't know how half this software works. I just know it works in the background sometimes, but there are a few people. There's definitely a little bit of volatility here, isn't there? Which may be causing that. I don't know. I don't fully understand it all, to be perfectly honest. But we have made multiple attempts and had a push down. So are we just retesting this again, or is this thing now going to come down? Have we got a leg and a leg? See, we had this kind of move down, didn't we? And then we had some sideways, and then it looks like we may be moving down again. Let's just have a look at the daily, see what that's giving us anything. Yeah, that 10,000 tick chart is looking proper bearish. That's the 10,000 tick chart. I mean, look at that. We are making multiple attempts. That is proper bearish. So I wouldn't be shocked if that comes down and clears out this. We may get another leg down. It's always possible. But this is starting to look bearish to me. This is the daily. I mean, we had a break. However you look at it, I mean, this could be the start of a move down, couldn't it? We trade down to a range, so maybe we continue down. Yeah, it happens a lot of the time, doesn't it? It's kind of like a mirror image, down, across and down, and vice versa. So, yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, this is making sense now, isn't it? Trouble is, you can't really trade here. You may have had a go at that if you'd have thought 2 attempts, but at the moment, after that big bullish bar, you don't know whether it's going to trap you there, touch that EMA and then push up to the top. But yeah, my thought process now is this has got a bearish feel to it. No one's anywhere near those wildfires, are they, over in Los Angeles? That's terrible, that is. I hope none of you guys have anything to do with that. Must be pretty scary. You done 3 green trades. Good for you, mate. Yeah, you have a nice weekend as well, buddy. I'm taking it you took one of those, did you? That one there. Yeah, this does. Trouble is that now is like a bit of an overshoot. Does it really matter? Maybe. So, where's this thing going? There looks like a bit of an overshoot there. Maybe it won't make a difference if this thing comes down. The same as that one, it might not make a difference. There is a lower high there, but that's just way too far for that. It may work, it may drop and take that out. It probably will, but I don't know. It's hard to know here. I don't like doing this because it touches 3 times there. You extend that, sometimes it can get you into a false sense of security. If it is bearish, it may not make a difference. So I'm just for now going to assume that's an overshoot and just give it a bit of space. Because if I don't and we get 2 legs up and I take a bearish buy, it triggers me and comes up to the top. I'll kick myself. How you doing, Sean? See you there, buddy. I read your comment, but not your name. How you doing? So there are 2 legs back, but I think this is risky personally. Unless we come down like this, in which case it might not be so terrible, but I'm sitting tight here. We haven't triggered above there anyway, even to take a short, but it may not make a difference. We've just hit this level and it may come currying down, but I'm sitting tight here. It actually doesn't look terrible on the other one But look at that now straight away. Because of this overshoot, I think you've got to leave that first trade. And it was actually not a terrible looking trade. 2 clear legs back. But because of that overshoot, it's done that. So, wow, look at that. Stopped out there and then down. So maybe that thing is coming down. But because of that overshoot, I think that had something to do with that not working. Luckily, it wasn't a setup on here. But look at that. It's 25 ticks. I mean, it does tell you there's a lot of selling down there, but when we're bouncing here, you don't really want to be going short there, in my opinion, or I certainly don't anyway. Just clearing out that, I think. Matt loves those bearish engulfing bars. Trouble is, it's 24 ticks, tick above, tick below. It's a 26-point risk. We've come down here twice and pushed up. Now, I think you have to pay attention that there may be an overshoot, so this may trigger and push up. Now, I think that's pretty bearish enough to say it's likely going to come down and take out any stops that may be down here, and it has. See, maybe there is something there. I don't like it. Let's bring this down anyway. Unfortunately, for me at the moment, there's nothing that I think I can safely trade. It's a little bit unclear. Are we just breaking these and it's going to come back in because we've had a break there? I don't know. It's a little bit unclear. You don't have a lot of time to make decisions, do you? And that's the problem, see. Big bearish bar, trapping the long there. May come down and take this out, but it might not. Same again, massive bar. I'm not risking $500 per account. Yeah, see that 10,000 tick chart has got quite a nice little channel working in. You may consider that still in. So maybe it is, but we're still quite a ways from the top. So we could get a leg and a leg. But if I got into a short here, I'd be hoping that this thing came down below here. And at the moment, it's telling us that it hasn't done. So I ain't getting involved here for a short. It's too low down currently. It may work. Medium impact news coming up in 5 minutes. Yeah, sometimes it does make a difference, but lately it has done a little bit. There's going to be stops here, isn't there? Yeah, it's cold in the UK today. Certainly is where I am. It's 0 degrees out there, degrees centigrade at the moment. So I've been out shopping this morning. It's proper cold. To dig out my big North Face parka today and some gloves. Not a fan of cold weather. Okay, 2 legs up, bearish bar off that midline seems to be playing a part. 16 ticks though. Well, 18 ticks now. It ain't finished yet. 20 ticks. No, I'm not getting involved in that. Especially now. Visual trading inside now, instead of laying back outside like you used to. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Absolutely, yeah. Mind you, to be honest, with this weather, we generally be at home. That's the one thing about bricklaying. It's got to be 3 degrees and rising, otherwise the water in the mortar just doesn't. Water in the mortar. That rhymes. It just tends to not set properly, but yeah, I know what you mean. Mind you, I've been looking at the news this morning and they reckon because of the cold weather, we've got about 1 week's of total gas supply for the country. Which sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? I miss my brick day in days a little bit. It was kind of nice to get out once in a while, but I wouldn't want to go back to it. I miss a bit of the banter and the stitch-ups and stuff. This is definitely a bearish feel to it. Bloody hell. Riced on a bike. Well, we have said medium impact news is starting to play more attention. Look at the size of that bloody thing. Christ almighty, 10. What's that? 5, 10. It's about 12, 13 points. Christ. I think I'm going to have to start penning. I noticed over the last few months, occasionally you can get the odd big bar. And they don't come much bigger than that, do they? Especially for medium impact news. Good grief. Okay. So, a little look here. So I think we can, oh, look at that. Someone took that as a lower high. As an engulfing bar, I think, and they're up 31 ticks so far, 33 ticks. Is that right? Lower high. Wow. Trouble is, it could have gone the other way. I got into a trade once. Fortunately, it was on an evaluation, maybe a couple of 2.5 years ago. and they had a 2-point stop, and it shot through that quick. That 2-point stop turned into 5 points. So if it goes against you fast enough and you can't get out, you could potentially lose one hell of a lot more. So that looks like a spike in channel now. So let's have a look at this. Mind you, you wouldn't want to go short here, really, would you? I think. So let's address this for a leg and a leg. So where could we get to down here? Possibly. Don't know whether it worked, will it? But so definitely a spike in channel. It's working nice in here. Trouble is, I wouldn't want to take something like that. One, it's too big. Two, it is far from that EMA. And after this push, you don't know whether it's going to come up and at least have a pullback. So maybe a small overshoot there. We may get a bit of a break here. I like that. Thomas Wade's got that. Mind you, got that. Tough one, that. Maybe. Will it go further? No. I'd have to get a leg and a leg here to get a short. Let's just get an order ready just in case we get something. At least that ATR's below 4 now. Take out any stops here, maybe. It's too stacked up, unfortunately. So, maybe a bearish bar here. Leg and a leg, bearish bar. It's taking that stop out now.
Order submitted.
Leg and a leg.
Order filled.
Beautiful. I like that. Leg and a leg. Triggered that one. There's a failure there. Took out that stop. I like that. Yeah, a few people took it. Anybody else take that? I think that was a nice setup there. Two lovely legs up. Trapping there was a failed second entry short there. Big strong bull bar. Triggered, came down here. Wasn't a massive risk. I think it was about 325 total. So, happy days. It's just more. They don't look a lot better than that for two legs. Yeah, I think Loads took it. Marco took it. Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah, Loads took it. Marco took it. He took it. He took it. Yeah, I think it's probably a nice quick trade. Yeah, you missed it. Oh, did you really? I was looking around here. See, for me, I wanted it to get above there to stop that out and then trigger that. So I'm happy about that. So that has sent my accounts now comfortably over 5,000. Good. See, fortunately, I took that $900 loss a few days ago. Now, ordinarily in the past, that would have sent me into panic mode and I'd have revenge traded, but I didn't. I took a trade day before yesterday, got $300. Took a trade today, got $300. So one more trade and I'm back to... So it just goes to show sometimes if something goes wrong, it's still worth holding on and not going stupid. And that's kind of... that. The fact that that's helped me in the last couple of days, that I didn't go stupid. And I managed to just hold the accounts. Now, I think part helped is because I got 3 bigger accounts and I know they're in line for a payout. So I'm kind of in a nice place. So it didn't stress me out too much that I ended up moving that stop, whereas in the past it would have done. So it just goes to show you sometimes if things go tits up and the shit hits the fan and things just go wrong, it's still worth just holding on and not panicking too much. And I'm telling you guys that, and I'm also telling myself that, because it's just solidifying that theory that live to fight another day. It does work. You know, when something starts to go wrong, just panicking immediately and just, you know, going hell for leather and either all in, it just goes to show that, you know, if you just keep your nerve and come back, and I've found that really hard to do, but the fact that I've got 3 accounts which are $5,000 now is just giving me that I've got something worth protecting now, and the other ones that are lower, I'm not too worried about it, so I don't get panicky too much. So, double trap, that looks like 2 legs back. The best one, absolutely. I love them when you get 2 clear legs back. You can see try to go low once, try to go low twice, you tick below there, nice big bullish bar. You're going to get people going along up here. Triggered. I like the fact that it stopped that bearish bar out as well. A lot of time it'll do that, and then nice and bearish there, and I got in there, and it was luckily a reasonable sized bar, because when it broke above there, I was worried that was going to come right down quick, and it didn't. It managed to hold. So yeah, tick above, tick below. It's only a 3.25 point risk, and considering you've got the ATR is 3 3/4 now without the ticks, it was relatively low. But after that broke above there, I was assuming that was going to come down before we even got the chance to get in, but fortunately. So what do we call that? 2 legs up, doesn't really matter. It's a visual second entry, isn't it? So it doesn't really matter. Let's call it a, sorry, no. Let's call it a second entry short, but we'll change it to visual. Second entry short. 3 points. I think credit to Wilson as well. He's had a tough few days, 3 red days, and he's lost 5 trades in a row. I can't remember the last time I did that, and that is going to knacker with your mental health. But he put a video on yesterday, or just a short bit, was yesterday, I think. Kind of a nice positive outlook on it. So things do go wrong sometimes for whatever reason. That, you know, there's sometimes an element of luck involved, I suppose. But being able to unlock that nerve and not blow out, that's the one thing I've struggled with most of all. So getting the last couple of trades and getting a chunk of that 900 back, I don't like to look at it as I'm trying to get my losses back. I think it's probably the wrong way to look at it. I think ideally when you're trading, it doesn't matter what happens in a day or over a couple of days. It's more what happens over a month. How did I do over the last 30 days? Have I made enough to give myself a payment? And all of a sudden, those days in between kind of become irrelevant, really. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. Not because I focused on that a lot before, and you'll hear me say that I've got that back or I'm trying to get it back. It's the wrong way to look at it. It's gone, but it was kind of never really there in the first place. It doesn't really matter. So I'm trying to sort of look at things a different way. So there is a failure there, but I'm just sitting tighter at the moment. When I'm up 1, I kind of like to stay there. Cheers, Speedy. I appreciate that. Can you elaborate? Who's Wilson? Does he trade Max? He trades Max, but with a little bit of his own kind of feel. I'll show you. He's a nice guy, actually. He's just like us, just a trader who's kind of, you know, making headway. That's shocking, them fires. That's terrible, that is. I'll tell you what, we're lucky in a way that we've got things like drones and helicopters and satellites where we can see these things and at least tackle them. But before we had all that sort of stuff, flipping hell, you didn't know what was going to happen, did you? Where is he? I'll show you. He didn't live stream. Well, technically, it's not true. He does, but he charges to watch. But yeah, look, that's him there. Wilson Analytics. But he's had 3, well, tough days. That is. It's down 25 points, near enough. But embrace the red days. I thought it was a good thing to put that. The foundation along to it, and he's exactly right. He's a nice guy, Wilson. I chat to him once in a while, not as much lately, but he's a nice guy. But he's just like us, you know, trying to get along, learning, improving, making mistakes. But every time you make a mistake in this business, it does make you a better trader. And it's the only way you learn. I mean, I used to get trapped. If you look at some of my older ones, I've got a shallower down channel you had earlier. Just made it a 2-tier. You're welcome, bud. You got a shallower channel. I had that earlier, but then I got rid of it. That I had, wasn't it? But then we had that push out the bottom, and it continued on down, so I extended it. And the only reason I extended it is because there's a few others. I think what's it still in one? Thomas Wade had that, and a few others as well, which is why I like to have this. It just gives me a different perspective. Yeah, loads of people took that one. So it gives me a different perspective. But once we had that drop out the bottom and that spike and channel, for me, I was looking for something. Yeah, loads of people took that. Loads. Hopefully some of you guys took it as well. But yeah, he adapted his, and I thought, yeah, I kind of like that. But yeah, that's what I had first. But when we had that strong push down there from that news, we're gonna have to start paying more attention to medium impact news. I haven't really followed it as such. But wasn't it a few months ago we had just a massive push, a 25-point bar, and I think everyone was talking about it. And then the last few times, sometimes it can get a bit erratic, so I'm going to have to start paying attention to it. So what I'm going to do now is 21. Just going to make some changes here. 21. I'm not going to trade my 3 bigger accounts now. The other 5 left, I may do if I see something good. But I'm going to leave the big ones because
order
I can
submitted.
put out for a payout after today. So 3, 4, 5, 2 and 1. So there's 5
order
there.
cancelled.
So, but does this look like it's bottoming, or is it me? So we got this push down, and then we got like a correction, and from then on, really, we never kind of made much headway. And then after that news, I think that news. Well, we were already down here anyway, weren't we? Lurking down the bottom before that news, which gave that extra push. So this now, to me, seems like it's kind of forming a bit of a sort of, well, cup and handle thing. I'm not in the market to take that trade. But that is a triple test, but something about this I don't like. And rightly so, because that to me is going to get eaten up. What about these? So, I don't like the way this is bottoming. see what happens when it connects with this. So this would confirm this really if that bounced there. But it's a range. We could get a fail break out of a range. It would be a second entry short. But that to me looks like it may be bottoming. We've got a channel with 2 legs up, a couple of legs down, a retest. Now that's closed there, right on that line. But if that was a bearish bar, if that was completely bearish, I may have a go at that. But I think if I'm not sure, sometimes I'll wait for the lower high. But at the moment, this is a bit of a no-go area for a short for me. Because this looks, whether it's bottoming or reversing or not, I don't know. But it's kind of forming like, they call them a cup and handle. I don't follow patterns as a rule, but I am aware of head and shoulders and their tendency to work. So maybe this is a cup and a handle. Is that a bearish pattern? I don't really know. It's definitely looking like a cup. Don't the handle go here then? Doesn't it drop? Oh, that's a shame. He's only got out here, isn't he? How far did that go down? So that went down 12 points, and unfortunately, Thomas Wade is only taking a fraction of him. You've got taken out now. Where did he have his stop? Yeah, I don't quite understand how he never capitalises so much on that. He's got his stop here, so that's 7 points. So that will be about 3 to 4. So he hasn't got much more than there, which is a shame, really. When this started to go sideways, I'd be tucking mine down here somewhere. Oh well. Nick, how you doing, my friend? Speaking of dissorts, can't wait for Dan's. Do you know anything about it yet? Has he said anything? Yeah, Dan's doing a Discord. Discord. It's a D, isn't it? So that'll be interesting. I think we all know Dan. Well, all the I think most of us do. How you doing, Nick? Anyway, you all right, buddy? This looks like a cut on the handle, doesn't it? Is that a bearish pattern? I don't know. Maybe not. Sure about that. Let me redraw that. Good on you, mate. Good on you. I'm all right, mate, actually. I'm all right. I'm in a nice place now, mate. I'm in a nice place. Things are working nice. I've got some nice accounts now. Well, 3 of them now are over 5,000, so I'm pleased with that. Finally, it's taken long enough to get there. So, yeah, I'm in a good place now. I'm starting to, I don't know, grow up or mature, you may want to call it, for want of a better word. It does take time, but as you know, I've been stubborn for a long time. I thought fighting with the market and throwing money at it was the answer, and I think I'm finally starting to get it through my thick skull that ain't the way you do it. But, you know, some people take a lot more learning, don't they? I'm a little bit more stubborn, and I think it's It's taken me a bit longer than most. It's a shame, really. I think my patience is good. You know, I sat here week before Christmas at one trade all week. My discipline, I think, is pretty good. I can sit and wait for it. My skill levels are growing nicely. It's just that acceptance of a loss is just that one little lingering part of the puzzle, which has been a pain in my rear end, if you know what I mean. Same here. Yeah, I think it's probably the same. It does seem to be that psychological thing, accepting losses. The trouble is, when you've had 3, 4 or 5 wins in a row, I had 9 wins in a row before Christmas. And I felt on top of the world. I thought I've got this sewn up, and then all of a sudden you get a couple of losses, and just it's amazing. It's amazing how it sort of messes with your brain, plays tricks on you. You can go from being confident. Not that I get careless confident. When I win a trade, I very rarely take another one on, and I very rarely lose it. So I don't have a problem, because I know they say some people, it can have that adverse effect, losses. They can get that invincibility kind of feeling, which I've never got, fortunately, so I don't have a problem with that. But inevitably, you're going to take a loss, aren't you? And hopefully it's just once in a blue moon. But I find the chance of me having a second one jumps quite high. Strange, isn't it? I think your patience, just that patience drops just a little bit, and you allow yourself that trade which just isn't quite up to standard. And sometimes you can get stung twice, and then things go haywire then. Accepting losses, yeah, is the hardest. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Daryl, for the most of us, I think. And I think it's good to talk about that, because sometimes you feel it's just you, but when you chat with other people, you realise, you know, we all more or less suffer the same way. But for me, it feels like the last piece of the puzzle. My skill level is enough to make money. I know that, and I'm confident about that. And that'll just continue to develop over time, you know, over the next year and 5 years and 10 years. My skill level will just grow. Once you hit a certain skill level that you know you can clearly see what a good setup is. You know, you can clearly see the bias of the market is down. We had this channel, 2 beautiful legs up. You can see there's some bullish traders going to be trapped there. This is going to come down at least below there. And once you can spot them, and you can stay out of traps. I mean, I used to get stung so many. It used to frustrate the hell out of me. But the more traps you get caught in, the more you start to realise those areas where there are them traps. And then, you know, you tend to get stuck in them less. And when you see one and you stay out of it and it would have gone against you, it's a nice feeling. You kind of feel then, I'm starting to understand what's going on there. And but yeah, you'd think really that the losses wouldn't bother you that much once your skill level and confidence starts to grow, but it's amazing how it still gets under your skin. So I'm trying to look at it differently. Nick's mentioned to me before, just look upon it as a business expense. Now, I don't know if you had a haulage company, and I don't know, one of your vehicles had a $5,000 bill from a clutch or something, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. You wouldn't think twice. You'd just pay it, wouldn't you? And unfortunately, all businesses come with expenses, and trading's no different. So it's trying to focus it with that right, put it in that right context. And that's what I'm trying to do. Which is why at the moment I've got my Guardian Angel trader set to 1 loss. So it forces me to walk away for the day, and I can't get back in there. So I think it's a great tool, that, to help you get out of a bad habit. Now, I'm not rushing to take a long here. It may continue higher, but my gut feeling is with this big bearish thing down here, we still could come down lower and test these areas. So I'm just sitting tight at the moment. Sometimes it'll do this and then drop. Can't get up, and then down we come. So I'm just sitting tight here. So my second chart is telling us a slightly different story here. that we've had a break. So I believe we've had a break of this. Touch, touch, touch. That looks like a break and a new high. My gut feeling is this may come down and try testing some of these. There's going to be stops there, stops there. There's going to be a ton of stops there. So my gut feeling is this isn't going to continue up much further at the moment. No, it's a gut feeling, and I certainly wouldn't take a trade based on it. I just like to have an idea of where I think price is going to go. It helps me understand it more. Now, who was that mentioned? Jay, your bigger channel may come into play. Possibly. I'm not sure about it. I don't like all this. I'm not sure about that. So maybe it will. Maybe this is just a break from a channel. And as we know, quite likely have a retest. So ordinarily, 2 legs back, you may be thinking to go long, and it may work, but I'm sitting tight here because my other chart is showing us we've had a break and a new high. So Rodian, how you doing, my friend? Long time no speak to. How are you keeping, buddy? I'm all right at the moment. Hopefully you're well. Hopefully no one's near this. I know you're not, Nick, are you? Hopefully no one's near Los Angeles at the moment. Must be terrifying. You took a break. It's good to do, mate. It's good to do. What's the difference between charts, both ticks? The only difference between this one is if you go into data here, which, just in case you don't know, it's like a little fist with some knuckles in data series. On the second chart, I have break at end of day deselected. And what it does, it makes the bars ever so slightly different. If you look here, see that bearish bar there? This is slightly different. And this chart is showing us that we may have a break here. That did work anyway, but I'm not in the mood for that at the moment. So it just gives you a kind of a second crack of the whip. So what's happening now? Is this thing going to come down or what? Yeah, I got the idea from Taylor on what was it? On double bar interest. I'll give you a quick glimpse of this. This is on Thomas Wade's. I probably shouldn't be showing you this, but it's stuff. But that's basically what it is. It's not. It's no big secret anyway. But I'll leave it on there for a second so you can freeze it and have a look. So I'll show you that first bit, and then I'll stream up to there, and it gives you a couple of examples of the difference. And bring it up to there, pros and cons. So have a little look through it. But it does help. It does get you some trades. I was forever seeing traders on Thomas Wade's having much better setups than me. And then I learned what they were doing. So yeah, it does make a difference. Where's the that one in it? Yeah. So it does help. It just gives you a second chance of a good signal bar. See, if you look here, if you were to take that signal bar's good there. On this one, it's not. You wouldn't take that as a signal bar. I mean, I wouldn't take this at the moment anyway, because we seem to have a channel here with a break, so I don't know how far this is going to go up before it may come down. So, and as I say, I'm up a trade, so I tend to get extra cautious. But on there, the bar looked better. So if you've got two options, it just gives you a second chance of a trade. So break 1, 2 pushes up to a new high. Is this going? If it does continue up, I may stretch it out a bit, but I did say that kind of looked like it was bottoming a little bit. Maybe it is, but So that looks like a break. Touch. I could probably bring it out a little bit more. You could keep that in. It depends how you're looking at it. If I bring that to there, maybe it is. If I think it's a break, I like to assume it's a break. See, all of a sudden now, it doesn't look terrible, that. But I'm just going to leave it there just for a minute. That's kind of how I was looking at it. It fitted nice, and it looked like it had a break. I'll be surprised if we don't come down and at least have a go at retesting this. So now we've had a break. 2 pushes to a new high. So I'm pausing looking for longs at the minute, mind you. Christ, look at that. I didn't expect that. So maybe that's the break. Yeah, sometimes these things still surprise you, don't they? Okay, excuse me just for a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Right, is this... It's starting to resemble... maybe we got something like that. Let's just bring him out of the way. Maybe. Maybe we've got a bit of a spiking channel here. Actually, I don't mind that. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, see, some have got it in the whole thing, but I actually think that looks a bit neater. Does look like a little spike in a channel to me. Still not ruling out it coming down and testing some of this. No, it's continuing on up. Maybe it is. Yeah, so my second chart that looks like a channel with a break, so I'm extending it. So it does look more like a spike in a channel, not far from bouncing off original wider channel. Is that where we had it? When it's something like that? Is that the one you're on about, was it? Yeah, I'm not so sure. I suppose it depends where it goes here. Rid of. Go. Yeah. Total payout through 2024. 22,000, which was double the first year. So my plan is to beat that. It's not a huge amount, I know. I had the year before, I think it was 8 or 12. I can't remember now. I think it was 8,000 the year before. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it was 8 the first year, 22 the second year. I'm aiming to try and double that this. Well, we'll see. I can make a withdrawal tomorrow, 6,000 tomorrow. So whether I'll take it all or not, I don't know. We'll see. I might just do half of it. I've got 3 of my accounts are at 5,000, so I may take a bit tomorrow. Be another 8 days tomorrow. I mean, I could have taken a bit more, but I took, when I add it up, instead of taking 2,000, sometimes I took 1,000 and ended up blowing the bloody account anyway. So, I kind of like what Apex have done now, but not letting you take the full amount. How many have I got now? I've got 8, bud. You can see them down here on the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What was I saying? Yeah, I like what Apex have done now. See, I used to get to 2,600 and just withdraw 2,000. Trouble is, you got 500 drawdown left, and that's just nothing. And 9 times out of 10, in fact, probably 10 times out of 10, I'd end up blowing them. Whereas now, the most you can take is 500. So you're leaving yourself there $2,000. Now that's worth protecting. So my plan was to get them to 5,000, take 2,000, and my starting point is 3 then, and then whatever I can kind of make on the next month. I don't know. I may just take 1,000 out of each, but I'll let you know when I do. But it'll be day 8. It's day 8 today. Should be able to get some nice consistency. The plan is, for me, is not so much how much per month. It's just to try and get a little bit every month. And if I can do that consistently. So I've got 8 accounts now. 5 of them are basically got nothing in. But if I can try and take even $1,000 or $2,000 out the 3 of them, that should give me $3,000 to $6,000 a month while the others build. And then when the others get to 5,000, I'll try and take 1,000 out of each, and then get some more and kind of. You know, we've all heard people saying it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's not. And I have spent so much time just trying to take outrageous gambles, trying to grow them quick. And when Apex changed the rules and only allowed me to take 500 out that, it gave me a chance then to grow them. And it's taken a bit of time. To get the $5,000, the 2 of them have been about 23 days. That's 23 trading days, so you could probably add an extra 10 on that for no trading days. So 30 trading days. So it's taken me about 7 weeks to get to 5,000, which I don't think that's that bad. My aim was always to try and get to 2,000 profit a month, and I've accomplished that. And even at only half of that, with 10 accounts, it's still $10,000. There's plenty of money to be earned. So leg down with a break. It's getting to this area now, isn't it? Yeah, see, my gut feeling is this may still come down and try and test them. It may not. There is some a little bit of support there and there, so maybe this thing might come down here. Who knows? What would you tell yourself 2 years ago when you first started? Don't blow loads of accounts. My attitude was, if I throw enough money at it, I'll get lucky. Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So that's what I'd say. Don't throw money at it. I did so many things wrong. I like to think, though, if you do stupid things, you get value out of learning. You definitely learn the more stupid things you do. But I would say to a newer trader now who's just starting, never put your own money in it. Stick on a simulator for at least a year. I'd say 12 months, and then only ever get one evaluation at a time. But even when I started getting my first 1 or 2 evaluations, I took stupid risks to try and get it to a PA. Well, that's all good and well, but then when you're paying $140 for a PA and you're blowing it in a day, you're just throwing away more money. So I would say don't focus on getting to a PA. Focus on getting that experience of having a little bit of skin in the game, but don't even think about PAs. You know, after a year, get yourself one evaluation when they're cheap and just stick at the one. And, you know, concentrate on learning. And it is a learning process, and it does, unfortunately, take a long time. And that's where patience, lack of them for me. I used to have shockingly bad patience. It's one of my strongest parts at the moment, but I always thought patience would be the hardest thing for me. And it's actually one of my stronger points at the moment. But it's not easy trading. You can earn a significant amount of money, and any job where you can do that is kind of never really going to be easy. But you tried telling them that to the young Lance when he started trading, and I just didn't listen. So hold on to your money. Don't throw it away like I did. Why would you not trade your own money? Big mistake. Well, when I say trade your own money, when you know what you're doing and you can control your emotions, absolutely. But when I first started, I'll give you an idea. I traded currency for 6 months from a complete beginner. And in all fairness, I knew jack shit. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I'd had 6 months experience, which is enough to just know the basics. And then I moved on to this. And within a month and a half, I put £5,000 of my own money in it and gave up my job because I thought it was easy. And within a few weeks, I lost it all. So never put your own money in, at least until you can make money on a prop firm. I use patience until I lose. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I say my patience is good, which means I can sit here for a week and not take a trade. So that's what I'm aiming it on. My patience is still good, but when I lose a trade, I think the emotions start to put a dent in them. So, yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah, it's hard to know what's going on here. So, but generally, as a rule, I'm patient enough to sit here for a week and take one trade, which I did before Christmas. My discipline and trade choice is pretty good. Occasionally, I still get a little bit impulsive and take something. We all get caught out. And what I like to think is I get caught out a fraction of what I used to. And I'm assuming every year I've been doing this, I'll get caught out less and less. So I don't mind that. You know, it's all part of learning. I've been doing this long enough to know how long it takes, and it just doesn't come easy. But yeah, my biggest hurdle at the moment is accepting losses, which is why I've implemented one loss and then it closes me down. I can't physically trade this now until 2:35 tomorrow. Well, if it wasn't the weekend. So Guardian Angel trade is helping me. It's stopping me panicking. And I think the way I see it is it's getting me out of a bad habit. So if you are struggling, you're blowing accounts, especially PA accounts, which start to get expensive, get yourself Guardian Angel Trader and you will do yourself a big favour. So break, straight up to a new high. I didn't expect that. to be honest with you. My gut feeling is this was going to come down, because on this chart we've got a break and multiple, so I thought this may now come down, but there is an area here, isn't there, which we've bounced 3 times, so it'd be interesting to see how this copes with this. So if, depending on how you look at this, you may say there's a channel there. You could be right. I think it's irrelevant. We've had a break from it and a new high, clearly, so we've had, I don't know, some call them supply and demand areas, don't they? But we've clearly had sellers here, so it'd be interesting to see what happens along here. So let's put that kind of about the crunch area. So it'd be interesting to see where this goes. Let's do the same here. So this may be an area where we decide to take a fall again, or we just could cruise up through it. In fact, that actually wouldn't look bad at all. Touch. Now that would be a nice 2-tiered channel. I actually kind of like that, oddly enough. So if we can get through this area, it might be a bit early days to do that, but it probably is really. But let's just go back to my original bit. I think I'm jumping a bit ahead of myself there. So, but yeah, there is a possibility of something larger, maybe. I'll see. So, but I mean, if I can get even 2 of these a week, let's say $600 for argument's sake. That's $2,500 in a month. Let's say you take 2 losses. So there's 8 trades. Let's say you lose the next 2. That takes you down to about $1,900 and an 80% win rate. $1,900 a month. Now, even if it gets worse and you only earn $1,000, if you've got 10 or 20 accounts, you can earn significant amounts of money. You don't need to take huge amounts of trades. That was always something I took too many of. I rarely take more than 1 trade a day. In fact, I rarely take more than 3 trades a week now. And by doing that, it does enable you to kind of get a better win rate and keep out of most of the noise and wait for clear setups like that. I thought that was an absolute beauty. Clear leg down to clear legs up. Always nice when there's a fell second entry short, which is triggered, and that's coming down. You can guess that's going to break below there and there as well, and quite likely target that area. So trades like that just don't work. Been with 2 trades of a payout on 4 accounts 3 different times in the last 2 weeks, and then have a loser. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. So I like the 1 trade and done policy now. The chance of me taking another trade is slim now. I certainly won't do it on my other PAs. My 3 bigger accounts I've taken off the table now. So the only ones I've got on here are the newer accounts. So one trade, I'm happy to walk away on those, especially on a Friday. No one wants to end up red on a Friday. So channel break up to this area, which we knew it could bounce off. Well, I mean, it could still go back up yet, but my gut feeling is this may come back down now for a bit. So I like that. Straight below that MA. So we've had a break, push up to a new high, straight below that MA. If we can get a second entry short here, I may have a go. So looks nice on this one as well. Channel break straight up there, a little break, new high, 2 little pushes, and we bounced off this area. So this is an interesting area. So my gut feeling is this thing's coming down now. I'm going to extend that a bit. Now are we going to end up ranging in this area here? You can clearly see We had that push up. We got a bit higher. We made 2 more attempts. Couldn't do it. And then obviously the news kicked in. And whether that had anything to do with the news, why it tended to dip there or not, I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if we retest this area now. It may take this scenic route. So it's not as simple as just shorten it and wait for the bottom. But I'd like to see 2 attempts to push higher and then maybe catch it on the way down. Still high, that lag. Anybody else's lag still a little bit out of the norm? So even if you only start really with 1 PA, if you can try and get $2,000 payment out of one, there's still a potential of $24,000 out of one account. So even when you're sort of new to it, yours is still orange, is it? Yeah, I think it just might be there is a bit more volume around. Well, there's certainly, price is certainly moving quite rapidly. Yeah, someone's shorted up here. It's come up to this area. See, once it's in this area, sellers seem to be coming in, and this is no different. There's nothing there for me really. A lower high here maybe, but so looking for a second entry short here, but there is possibly an area of support here. So a little careful. So come on, let's have 2 legs up here. So I don't think this is at a I don't think this is at a break here yet. There's 1 push up. I'm just gonna. Trouble is, if this could go a bit sideways here, and we bounce a little bit there, so you might have to be careful here because it may come up and try and retest this. If we can get a decent 2 legs followed by a bearish bar. Trouble is, it's bounced there, and that's what worries me. Okay, so that's triggered. I want another leg, really. I'm just going to put an order up just in case. It's coming straight down, isn't it? Do you pay a fee per account? I need to look into this Apex stuff. Never considered it. Do you pay for a fee? Have you not used the prop firm before, have you? You pay a fee. At the moment, it's not a very good offer at the moment, so I'd say I wouldn't bother at the moment. But usually you get 80% off, which is about $30 odd. So you're taking an evaluation. If I don't know whether you know this enough, I mean, if you have 8 accounts, do you pay? Oh, I paid a one-off fee. So I paid $85 for each of these accounts. And theoretically now I don't pay anything else. They're my accounts now as long as I can keep them. And then I can kind of withdraw. You've got to have an 8-day period, 5 of which have got to be profitable to a minimum of $50. And once you hit 8 days, so on the other 3 days, it doesn't really matter. As long as, I think as long as, I'm not even sure 8 days. Do you need to, it's one question I'm not sure about. You've got to wait 8 days and you've got to have 5 and profitably. Do you have to even open a trade or does it, I can't remember, does it matter if it's a loss or open trade but close as long as 5 of them are profitable? not sure about that. It's an interesting thing, that. Yeah, so there is a failure there, but it just doesn't seem like a place that a lot of buyers would want to be in, so I can't see a huge amount of stops there worth trapping. It's an interesting question, that. I see. If you look into that, yeah. I'm sure there are plenty of YouTube. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, if you're a trader, and let's face it, how many traders are getting into it new have got a lot of capital? I think you're always best off starting. My plan is to filter maybe 25% of my payments into my own account and continue to grow that, or start to grow that. I haven't got one at the moment. But the beauty is I can have, so if I get a new account now, I'll have $2,500 worth of drawdown to play with. So I've basically got that to make me money, and that'll cost me at the moment $85. So my total risk on that account is $85, but I've got $2,500 to play with. So I could trade 2 contracts. I trade 2 contracts today. I've made $300 on all my accounts, and each of these accounts have only cost me $85. So I've already got my money back times 4. Times 3 or 4. So they're a gold mine, really, and they're a great way to kind of cut your teeth and learn your skill. But yeah, I would definitely advocate newer traders, especially inexperienced traders, start with a prop firm and don't touch your own money, because we all know what that can lead to. There is a second entry short there. I'm not trading here. It's finding a bit of support there. It may come down, but it may, there's going to be liquidity above this area, so it may just decide to just pop off and clear off some of this. So I'm sitting tight at the moment. You can bet there's going to be stops along there, see, so sometimes it'll just clear it out before it goes on its merry way. But it has bounced off this area before, so maybe it may push up a bit. How does it benefit being an affiliate? Okay, when I first started streaming, I started streaming a little over 2 years ago, and I knew nothing about affiliates. I didn't even know what the word meant, to be fair. Well, I know what it means, but so I started. I didn't become an affiliate, I think, for a couple of months. Can't remember now. It's 2 years ago. But being an affiliate, really, all it means is you have a code. So I have my code UKFT, and if you guys sign up for an evaluation with Apex, I get a small commission. So it doesn't cost you guys anything more, but it's, I don't know, Apex just use it as a way of having people bringing in new custom. But the strange thing is, even if I bring in a new customer, if that customer uses my code, 10, 20 times, they kind of still pay for it. Not a huge amount. I know some people earn a fortune, but realistically, I'll be honest with you, I average about $1,200 per month, which is give me enough of a wage with a little bit. So I did $22,000 last year, plus about 25, so about $36,000, $37,000. So it's not a huge wage, but it's enough of a wage so that I didn't have to go to work. I did do a little bit of work part-time, working weekends just to top my money up. But my wife had a little bit of a pay rise, I think, before Christmas of about 5,000 or 6,000. So, we ain't loaded, put it that way. Far from it, but we can manage. And that was kind of what I decided to do. I wanted to put as much time into this as I can. I'll use that code, but I'm full up for now. Yeah, you're right, but don't worry about it. You don't have to use my code. You can use any code, But as I've said, I know some streamers, pump you full of the code and all this. But as far as I'm concerned, if you're a new trader only ever get one. It's just not worth it. You know, you can get as many as you like, but all you're going to do is use a copy trader, which you don't need, and you're going to end up blowing multiple accounts, and it ain't worth it. So I've always pushed that. You know, I don't want people throwing away money because I did it and it isn't nice. Yeah, I make a bit of commissions, but it's enough for me at the moment, and I'm going to hopefully make more money this year. And I appreciate people for using it, but only ever use one at a time unless you're growing them because you can make money. Because you just, you know, I had so many people, I got 5, I got 10 accounts, and then they blow them. The trouble is, you copy trade, you make one bad trade and you blow them all. So, you know, I can't emphasize this enough when you're new. You can get through thousands. I shit you not. You can get through an absolute ton of money. And it's just not worth it. Only ever stick to one until you can grow it to a PA organically and make money. Then if you can make some money on a PA, then add a couple more. That's the time to start adding. How you doing, Kirk, anyway? I haven't spoke to you since before Christmas. Happy New Year, bud. I actually enjoyed my Christmas break. Do you have a code? No, they don't have any codes, or there's no codes or affiliates or something like that. But just out of interest, I did start, I haven't really used it so much. I did start a Facebook group. No, there's no codes, there's no affiliates, nothing like that. But I started a Facebook group because it can be a bit tricky to learn at this. Well, it's not really tricky, but I think there was certainly questions I had, and there was no other Facebook group, so I started one. There's only a handful of people in it, but it's there if you want to use it. So there's 19 members, but it's great if you don't know something about it. There's enough people using Guardian Angel Trader now, but you know, it's just called Guardian Angel Trader. GAT users. No, there's no affiliates or discounts or anything like that. It's just a fixed price. I think it's $3.99, but it takes you. It's a little bit tricky when you first start it, but you get the hang of it. But I categorically tell you, you will get your money back very quick if you can fully control your emotions and you're not blowing accounts. You don't need it. But if you have an issue with blowing accounts and struggling a little bit, it's an absolute lifesaver. And you can lock it. So if I lose a trade now, there's no way I can trade no matter what I do until 2:05 tomorrow. Well, if tomorrow was a trading day. So it physically removes the chance of you taking a trade. And you can set loads of different... I can't open it at the moment because I have it allow me to open it and adjust everything from 1 to 2 UK time an hour before I trade. And then it's locked. Because of you sharing, I'm paying far more attention to the story Price is telling me. Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? Break new high. Yeah, it's really surprising if you look at these channels. Every time we get a channel, 9 times out of 10 it has a break, makes a new high because we're going up. Channel, break new low. Channel, break new high. But some traders don't pay attention to this. You know, channel, break new low. Channel, break new low. So the theory is if we're in a downtrend, when we have a break, or a break, if that break comes like this in the space of 2 legs up and gives you a bearish bar, preferably trapping traders, we had a perfect channel, 2 beautiful legs up, you jump in there for a short and look at that. Straight down for, I don't know, 8 points. I took 3 there, but that's the theory. When we have a break, that's when we're looking. Or, in the case of this, just 2 legs back in a bullish bar. Those work as well, but if there was 2 nice legs down here, we'd be looking for a new extreme. In other words, a new high, which we did. But the prices, once you start to understand price, and a lot of traders don't pay attention to it because they trade, you know, and it's perfectly fine. They trade, maybe I'll drop a trade in here because we've got an area of supply and demand up here or stuff like that. And they use sort of indicators, you know, coloured out areas where to get in. But if you can understand what the price is doing, it is so accurate, I can't tell you. And why trades lose is not because the price action's not accurate, is because the context is not right. the channel's not wrong, but if you draw these channels, they're so accurate. There was a nice second entry short there. I didn't take it because the context is telling me there's a bit of support there, but it still worked. You know, two nice legs up. First entry, second entry. As soon as it broke below there, second entry short. Off the key entry point, touched the EMA, and it worked beautifully. So once you start understanding how this works, it's a gold mine. Before I would just jump on a good signal bar on a second entry, there are lots of good reasons not to do. Absolutely, absolutely. Any type of skill that you've learned in trading is only going to help you. So if you're already a seasoned trader, you understand how price works. So keeping certain things like someone said, messaged me the other week, he said, why are you drawing all those constant little channels and all over? It's just how I learned, and it's just so accurate. It's unbelievable. So see this here for me, this is ringing a few alarm bells here. We're at the bottom of the channel, we're at the bottom of the channel, we're at the bottom of the channel. These two legs down, we're not quite getting to the bottom. There's a little bit of a gap there, and whenever we don't get down, often that leads to a break, and when we get a break, I'll be looking for a second. It doesn't always. I'll be looking for a second entry short. So it's just finding areas where these setups are likely to happen, and we need that there.
Order cancelled.
But it's struggling to get down. Sometimes it doesn't make a difference, it just does. But we're struggling to get down, and now it's going a bit sideways, which is telling me we may get a break here. So I'll get my order open and then start looking for... But if you can read price action well, trades like that just do not fail. They really don't. Obviously, you know, it's a second entry short in a downtrend. I used to take second entry shorts in an uptrend while it didn't work. See, it's stacking up a bit here now. So I think traders are avoiding going short here, maybe, in which case we may get a break. It's low enough to still it may go down, but this is when I start to think, let's sit tight. But once you start to learn how price works, I'm just checking I'm not shorted into anything. There is a little bit of a bounce there, but I don't think that's going to worry me too much. So let's get an order ready,
submitted.
Just in case, and I'm looking for something like that again. Two clear legs up. Clear attempt to push, second attempt, and it's always nicer when it traps somebody. But it's a little bit choppy here, so I'd rather wait for a little break. It may be bouncing there, but that to me is looking like it's likely going to come down and test these lows, but it may have, you know, we may have, I'd like a reasonable size break before I go short here. Ideally something like that.
Order cancelled.
Now that may work, but to me, it's going a bit sideways here. And when we do that rangy type stuff, ideally I want a leg and a leg. It still may work. But see what I mean about not quite getting to the bottom there, and then we get a small break. I mean, in all fairness, you could probably, if it continues down, I'll adjust this out a little bit, but it's weird how I thought because of this we may get a break, and then we do. So once you start getting to read price action, it's so accurate, it really is. But the trouble is, if you kind of only trade the way you learn, and you kind of don't kind of get why other people do what they do sometimes. Okay, so one leg back. This is what I'm looking for. Trapping some longs here, but I prefer to get a little bit higher than this. So I want my short up here, really. Trapping some longs, not there. So, but there is some support there. Which is sat on top of that. It's going to be stops down here. You can bet your money. Excuse me a second. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. May just come down, but I can't do nothing here, unfortunately. I'd like it to push above all this, clear out any possible bit of liquidity sat above there, and then maybe down. So, I don't think that is terrible. That's like a two-tiered channel. So let's forget about this. That was just the news, wasn't it? Was that the news? That was just the news. So we may have a leg and a leg. I'd still like a decent pullback though, before I even entertain that. Solid bull bar. I'm not ready to go long at the moment, personally. That might be a breakout pullback. It's tempting, that is. Took it for 4 ticks. That one there, did you? Ultimately, see, we're at this area. There is a bit of support and resistance there, so it has bounced there. So sometimes these bits of support become resistance later down the line, don't they? So this day has still got a bearish feel to me. We had that push with a break, a new high, then a strong move down. I think this thing is looking to me like it continued down. You may call that a lower high. It's very tempting to go short there, but it's 14 ticks. I would say that is vulnerable. It's kind of like a breakout pullback, but it is a bit choppier. And if this thing does continue down, I'd like to see a larger break than just that. Beyond my 3-hour limit, a good time to quit. Absolutely. Have a great weekend, buddy. Always nice to be up on a Friday, and it just makes that single malt tasty even nicer. I've got myself a nice bottle of Lafroig Select downstairs I picked up earlier on offer. £25. That's cheap, that is, for Lafroig. I like my peated whiskies. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to pop that cork and have a couple. Nothing nicer on a Friday. So there is a lower high there. It's very tempting, that.
Order submitted.
It's a lower high, second entry short.
Order submitted. Oh, shoot, I didn't want that there. Order
Just going to
filled.
get out of here for, what was that, a couple of $100. It's probably going to work. Yeah, it would have done. I don't know. Once it broke below there, it didn't rocket down like I kind of thought it might do. So that's a much better day for me. Second entry short, back up here, trapping some possible longs there. So I like that. I only took that on 5 of my account, so that's an extra couple of $100. Second entry short, lower high. Yeah, a few people took that out for 16. Triple test, yeah, maybe. You're up 500. Yeah, it's a good day for me on those. I needed them though, mate, to be fair. I had a $900 loss on them. So I did 3 yesterday, 3 day before. So I'm up 800. So I've got most of those back. At least he's now looking a bit better. But I'm quite glad I got out there, actually. There is a failure there, but, you know, sometimes I think 2's enough. So it didn't get the reaction that I was expecting it, which is why I just jumped out for a couple of $100. So it might have been a good decision to do that. Karina, how you doing? It's a strong buy, that is, from there. So I'm happy where I am at the moment. 2 for Friday is great. 2 for any day is great for me. I rarely get 2 trades in a day, very rarely. But I couldn't deny that just for the low there. But I'm glad I got out of it. Yeah, very glad. I expected it to clear that up, nothing more. Unfortunately, it just did it. That's what I got out. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't hold on there. Sometimes when you've had a big loss or a couple of losses, sometimes you have that urge to try and get a little bit greedy, but I go for my 3 points and I think it's enough. Sometimes you get a bit too... And the context isn't fantastic for going much lower there, is it? If we'd have had 2 beautiful legs up here, then I may have held on a bit. I have avoided, since it's a range, they felt trappy, yeah. See... We're going a bit sideways there. That looks like a little breakout pullback. We push up to the EMA, comes up to the top, drops down bearish. Then it doesn't push up and trap the short. It gives us a lower high. So for me, I think that's worth taking because it's definitely making multiple attempts. And I think my gut feeling is it's going to clean out that because there's going to be traders buying there. And it did just that. Push down, cleared out that, and then turned. So let's just mark that up. So that was a second entry short, stroke lower high. I think there's a time to stay in a trade and there's a time to just take your points and stay out, I think, isn't there? Avoid it today. It's really moving, isn't it, at the moment? Yeah, I get what you're saying about that. Absolutely, yeah. You know what? And I say this a lot. If you're not sure, it doesn't matter what anybody else does or says. If you're not sure, you best stay out. I've got in based on seeing, when I started Thomas Wade's, was it middle of last year? A couple of times I saw Thomas and Taylor say they've took it in a trade and it came back for a limit order and I took it, but it looked just too congested for me, and as soon as I took it, it stopped me out. So it doesn't matter what anybody else does. You have to because you've got to live with the consequences. I've traded and I've seen others taking the trade and I've said, no, it's too risky, and it's gone on to lose and I made the right decision. So you always, if you're not sure, stay out of it. You never lose a penny staying out of a trade. But if you get into a trade you're not sure of, in your mind you're not sure. And if I got into a trade based on, I'm not sure about this, those are the ones where I used to go on tilt because I used to kick myself. Why didn't I listen to myself? So now, if I've got a doubt, 19 times out of 20, I'll stay out. I still have a little tiny bit of impulsiveness once in a while, but I just put that down to just immaturity in trading. That'll come with time. I try and think to myself, it's not about being perfect, it's about improving. So, I think it's good to sort of give yourself a bit of breathing space and a bit of a break. I used to beat myself up, literally, and when I said beat myself up, I've literally thumped myself in the face. I know it sounds a bit crazy, doesn't it? But I have whacked myself in the face before. It does sound a bit mad, doesn't it? But just out of pure frustration, and it hurt for a couple of days. I've thrown a monitor out the window. I thumped a monitor and threw it out the window once a couple of years ago. I remember my Auntie Janet came round and she went to my wife, I don't know whether I should be saying this, but there's what looks like a TV sticking out your grass. So we do some weird things, and I wonder why that's why traders have lots of screens, so they can wreck a couple. But I only did it once. It gets a bit pricey. I did get a nice new shiny monitor out of it. So there is a break there and a new low. In fact, I'll be inclined to say there's a break, 2 pushes to a new low. So what do I prefer there? That one, I'd say. So channel down with a break. 1, 2 attempts to push higher, 2 legs up, lower high, break in the way of 2 legs, and a new extreme in the way of 2 legs. 2 legs up for the break, 2 legs down for the new extreme. Now, it could come back a bit and go down, but I'm kind of glad I got out what I did there. Wasn't sure about that one, but when we had the lower high, sometimes it's a bit more confirmation. So $3,300 day for me. So that's a good day for me, that is. I needed it on those accounts. It's just give me that little bit of confidence now. Sometimes, or when you have a bad day, don't worry about it. A week later, you may have forgotten all about it in your accounts. Might be nice and rosy again. So on that note, I think that's a good time for me to finish. So I appreciate your company today. It's been a good day for me. It's been a funny week, actually. I had a little bit of a disaster on the one day, but my bigger PA accounts are nice now. They're comfortably over $5,000 now, so I'm pleased about that. Someone took a trade here, so maybe this thing is coming down some more. And in fact, maybe that's the case. Who knows? Possibly. You're welcome, buddy. Anytime. Maybe it's something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do have another leg down here. So maybe that wasn't terrible. But I am done for the day. So if you're carrying on trading, best of luck. Failing that, have a great weekend. Hopefully, you US guys, hopefully you're out of the line of fire from those fires in Los Angeles. I don't know many of you. In fact, I must message a trader buddy of mine, Marlon. He's in that area. Forgot about that. But hopefully that'll get sorted pretty quickly. It's weird that it's freezing flipping cold over here, but you've got raging fires over there. So hopefully any of you guys or your families are out of the danger zone there. So anyway, stay safe, have a great weekend, and we'll catch up again on Monday. Bye for now.